Hey everyone, and welcome to episode number 30 of the Nerd Federation podcast. This is going to be a special episode for number 30. It is Sunday, June 9th. I have just watched the Xbox showcase. I'm about 45 minutes past watching it, and wow, what a showcase, man. I mean, I will say I've watched a lot of these. Let me back up here because I'm excited. By the way, this is gonna be just a video game episode because I told you guys I was just gonna record this week ahead of going on a media tour this week for my job. So this is gonna be all video games. I have yet to watch Dominion. I've only watched a match and a half. I have not watched really any wrestling the past week. So, video games only this week. And man, let me just tell you, I have watched a lot of these shows over the years between PlayStation and Xbox mainly, and some Nintendo mixed in as well. And was sitting down watching this show, and it just seemed like I think I wrote on social media the first 15, 18, 20 minutes of the show to me was just banger after banger after banger after banger. And it felt like, and I'm looking at it right now, the first six things that they showed in this showcase, I said to myself, I want to play that. I want to play that. I want to play that. You know what I mean? I was just going down the line of things that I want to play. And overall, they showed 30 trailers, 30 games in this showcase. Stuff that we already known about, stuff that had come out that they had talked about earlier this year at the Xbox Developer Direct. And we got some more clarity on some of that stuff in this game, in this showcase. But there was some stuff here that I've never seen before, that I don't think anybody has seen before. Obviously, when you call something a world premiere, it's something that we've never seen before. So in that sense, it was a nice mix of things. And again, 30 things that they showed. And I thought to myself, there are a few things here that I don't want to play, that I have no interest in playing. Things like Flight Simulator, things like Elder Scrolls Online, the 10-year anniversary. There was something called Mecha Break, which looked like Gundam Monsters, like a Battle Royale Gundam Monsters. Something called Frag Punk, which is another fucking hero shooter. Like, how many of these 5-on-5 hero shooter things do we need? But oh boy, did they show some stuff that I was really, really interested in playing. And I'm not going to go game by game because I'm going to be here forever. And I'm actually on kind of a time crunch right now as I record this. But I am just going to kind of go into the stuff that really excited me. And I'm going to begin at the end for this one because there were a lot of rumors heading into this show about whether we would see anything from Gears of War. The long-rumored Gears of War collection, we thought we were going to see that in the show. That did not happen. If you're unfamiliar, this Gears collection is supposed to remaster the first three Gears of War, the original trilogy. That was not announced at this show. But what was announced was Gears of War E-Day, Emergence Day, which is actually a fucking prequel. I could not believe, like, when they showed, it was a cinematic trailer, obviously. They say in-game engine, and I believe that because the Coalition does some great stuff with Unreal. But there's this sequence where Marcus is fighting a locust, and at some point Marcus defeats the locust, and he's hiding, and he's hanging off of like a ledge, and somebody puts their arm out to bring him up, and it's Dom. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is happening here? I listen, if you don't know about Dom, go back and look. I don't want to spoil it, but Dom is there, and I'm like, what is happening here? So apparently, this is a fucking prequel. And I think a lot of people are surprised about the fact that this mainline installment thing is a prequel. Emergence Day. Basically, if you don't know the lore, Emergence Day talks about the emergence of the locust on Earth. So that's, and I think it's Earth. So that's the game that we're going to get. And I'm surprised because I love Gears of War. I'm a big Gears of War person. I like the story. I like the mechanics. I like the shooting. It's a third person over the shoulder shooter type of thing. It kind of started the whole genre of cover based shooters, if you're unfamiliar with that or familiar with that. But the fact that we're getting just up like this prequel as the next mainline game really tells you how much they fucked up with Gears of War 5. And what I mean by that, if you're unfamiliar with Gears of War 5 and the way that went down, you basically had to make a choice in Gears of War 5 about who you were going to save. It was very controversial at the time because it just never been done in that series before. And giving a choice for people to dictate which way the story might go in the next game is a really slippery slope. And I wonder if they found themselves in a corner here and figured, oh no, we made a mistake here, right? We made a mistake with Gears of War 5 to have this story play out. So I think that they found themselves in a corner and they figured, oh, what's the next best thing? Let's do a prequel about Emergence Day because we've never really told that story before. It's been told a little bit in books. I think there was a book that I read about the Emergence Day, but they've never done it in a video game form. There's always been reference to it. You hear about it all the time in the Gears of War lore, but you never really see it in action. And I know they made Judgment Day, but that was Gears of War Judgment. That was, I didn't even play that all the way through. I kind of got bored with that game really quickly. So, yeah, no date, obviously, because they just showed a cinematic trailer. But you got to wonder, Xbox in this showcase showed a lot of games that are set to come out in 2025, at least with the date to be 2025. Next year is stacked. This whole idea that they're going to do, that they've been wanting to do about a major game per quarter, it looks like this is going to finally happen in 2025 because as of right now, the 3 games that they had coming in 2025 was Doom, was South of Midnight, and Fable. So that's already 4 games supposedly coming out in 2025. What that 4th game is going to be, that is going to hit that mark of 1 major release per quarter, who knows? Is it Gears of War? Whew, man, I don't know. That's a really tough thing to say whether that's going to be the case, but I think people are excited. And I was really trying not to look at stuff online to see people's reactions, but it looks like, and I'm just going to bring up the Gears of War Twitter account and kind of see what people are saying. Interesting that the tweet's not there anymore. Huh. That's interesting. Maybe something what the okay, this is something. No, this is some people, I I think some people are so I'm just looking at some react Tony Polanco. This guy and I'm calling him out. I don't care. I'll this dude it just seems like so jaded by video games right now that he's giving the showcase a 3 out of 10. A 3 out. Listen, I'm as skeptical as the next person, but there is no fucking way that showcase is a 3 out of 10. Absolutely not. I'm sorry. It just isn't. It's not. It's not a 3 out of 10. There's no way. There's no universe where that's a 3 out of 10. I'm sorry. So I don't know. And this is a guy. I don't mean to single him out, but it's just like this guy's been so disappointed by this generation of consoles that it just like then I just feel like the negativity is just insane. Anyway, I didn't mean to call him out, but it caught my eye as I was on Twitter. But the majority of people seem to be really jazzed about what the showcase was about. And don't forget, there was stuff that's coming to PlayStation as well. You had the Square Enix with another, what's it called? Why am I forgetting it off the top of my head? Life is Strange, Double Exposure. That's going to be on PlayStation. Diablo is going to be on PlayStation. Doom is going to be on PlayStation. Flintlock Seas of Dawn is going to be on PlayStation. So there's a lot of things. There are a lot of things here that are also going to be on PlayStation. Assassin's Creed is also going to be on PlayStation. Stalker 2 is going to come out on PlayStation after a 3-month period as an exclusive on Xbox. So there was a lot of stuff shown here that was also third party that will also be on PlayStation, and who knows if it's going to be on the Switch 2 as well. So I started at the end, right? But let me kind of go through the things that I saw that I was really excited about, that I really kind of nerded out about. And I did not watch the Black Ops Direct. I started watching it, but I was looking at the time because I got to get out of here in about 15 to 20 minutes. And I said, I'll watch that later. But the fact that Black Ops was the first thing shown, and the fact that this game has had 4 years to cook, coming out October 25th, the fall is fucking jam-packed. Like, really, really jam-packed. It's unbelievable how jam-packed the second half of this year is. And it starts next month with the college football game, because that's coming out July 19th. Anyway, October 25th, Black Ops 6. It's going to be taking place in the early 90s, which I am really interested in seeing because they have clips of George Bush, the first, and Bill Clinton. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. From what I've heard, again, I did not watch the direct. This is going to be kind of an open world type of situation. So I'll be curious to see, at least maybe they do like a hub style type of thing. So I'll be curious. I'll have to watch the direct and I'll have to report back on a later podcast. But I'm interested in that. Next game that they showed was Doom, The Dark Ages. I think those games is hard as shit. But now it's making me look at this. I want to go back and play Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, because I started 2016 and I thought the platforming in that game sucked, and it prevented me from going back and completing it. So I want to get into that. Doom Eternal, Doom the Dark Ages, which has this like medieval type of vibe to it. And people were worried that we weren't going to get like true Doom here because it was medieval. No. We're getting true Doom here. And I love the fact that the Doom guy has a shield, which I think is kind of funny. He still has a gun, but he also has like the battle thing with the God, what the hell is that thing? It's the metal ball on the chain with the spikes on it. I know there's a name for that, but it's not coming to me right now. So really interested in that. State of Decay 3 looks so interesting. They finally showed that off. And while we don't have a date, I'm thinking that's going to be more 2026. We did get some glimpses of gameplay. And my God, that thing looks so much better than State of Decay 2. The problem with State of Decay 2 for me was that there wasn't my brain, the way my brain processed that game, I wasn't like crazy about. So I'll be curious to jump on what this is going to look like next game. Again, I said I wouldn't go game by game, but this is because of what was announced way to start in the beginning of the show, Dragon Age. I saw some people were like, "Oh, I don't know if I like this." Listen, as somebody who's never played a Dragon Age game before, I am going to give this a chance because to me, it looks interesting. So I'm probably going to jump into this at some point. Next was the Starfield expansion coming out in uh later in the year. And they're actually having new content dropping tonight. And it looks like there's like a new storyline that you can get yourself involved with. So I'll be curious to see, as somebody who's in the middle of replaying Starfield, I'll be curious to see where this new content comes in the current thing that I am playing. Then you got a Fallout 76 expansion map, which is again making Fallout look like something that I want to jump into 76 to jump into for the first time. So that also seems exciting as well. So I'm almost 17 minutes in. This is where there were things where I was like, this looks good. This doesn't really look good. I don't know how I feel about this, blah, blah, blah. South of Midnight. This was the 8th game that they showed, and this is from Compulsion Games, and I was mesmerized by the gameplay and the art style. It was more the art style, which honestly, I cannot even explain. It was kind of like comic booky, but also it seemed like stop motion. I honestly cannot describe. You're going to have to go watch the gameplay and the kind of the cinematics of that game. But I was just like, oh shit. And the funny thing is too, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Kena Bridge of Spirits. Because there was a sequence, this is what they showed on the gameplay, because it looks like it's similar to where the swamp is being overtaken by some like rot. And if you remember from Bridge of Spirits, there was like a rot thing that Kena, I always forget how to say it, had to kind of get through. So this character in South of Midnight goes through this area and you can see this rot, and all of a sudden it's closed off. Like you can't advance because you have to defeat this monster first. Very, very similar to Kena. So instantly that kind of had my attention. And man, that game looks really fucking nice. I am so interested in playing that. And they did give it a 2025. And that was the second one that they said coming out in 2025. So that's going to be really interesting. Game number 14. They finally showed Perfect. People have been waiting to see this for I think 6 years now. It's been 6 years since we showed a teaser way back when. I think it looks good. It's still this, it's a futuristic setting. It looks like it's a combination of espionage and Mirror's Edge, which I've never played. Everything's in first person. So whether you're shooting or fighting or traversing, everything's in first person. I'm sure somebody's going to complain about that because they complained about that with Indiana Jones, which they also showed, by the way, here. So again, when are we going to see this? We had a little slice of this during the show with actual fucking gameplay. They knew that if they were going to show this game at this show, that they had to show gameplay, and they did that. They showed gameplay. So again, when we're going to get this, I don't know, but I am really, really intrigued with it. Okay. Game number 16, again, bouncing around here. They showed off Fable again, and they had that coming in 2025. So that marks the third game now that they have marked for coming out in 2025. I don't know if there is some kind of subliminal thing. I didn't say that word right. Thing going on here where maybe, okay, Doom, I think, is going to be early next year. I really do. I'm talking about like January or February. And then maybe South of Midnight comes out in the spring, middle of the spring. I can see Fable being end of summer, like an August game, or even technically the Starfield slot, right? The fall, beginning of fall. And then what's going to be your fourth quarter game? Is that going to be a Perfect Dark or maybe even a Gears of War? Who the fuck knows? But the only issue now with the fall is going to be how do you avoid Grand Theft Auto? Right? That's the thing. Because what have they said now for Grand Theft Auto 6 for the date? Let me see. They're saying autumn of 2025. So you got to be really careful about where you put your fall games for 2025, because you probably don't want to be 3 to 4 weeks before or 3 to 4 weeks after Grand Theft Auto 6. You got to get the fuck out of the way. You're going to have things like Madden, things like that are going to be there, but you got to steer clear of that Grand Theft Auto 6 timeframe. So we'll see where Fable slots in next year. They showed Indiana Jones again. That was number 23. They gave 2024 as the year that it's supposed to be coming out this year, but nobody knows exactly when. And I saw somebody online say, well, probably going to be in December, which I guess is fine. It's a weird time. It's a weird time to release that type of game. And I don't know. I don't really care about these award things, especially the Keeleys. But you're basically cutting yourself off from being nominated for the Game Awards. Doesn't seem like Xbox and Bethesda and Machine Games really cares about that, but TBD on that. And then they showed Avowed again. That was game number 26, scheduled to come out later this year, 2024. Good Lord, 2024, end of this year. November, probably. It's good. It's fucking insane. And then they showed Stalker 2. That's coming out September 5th, right? That is just a few days after Star Wars Outlaws comes out. Like, oh my fucking God. Like, holy shit, man. So listen, you are looking, I'm just looking at the rest of the year for me personally, right? July is college football, NCAA 24. We've been waiting for a new NCAA for 12 to 14 years. So that's coming out in July. August is Star Wars Outlaws. September is Stalker 2. October is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. November is Avowed, and December is Indiana Jones. That's just on that side of the ledger. Right? You're not even counting what PlayStation with Astrobot, right? Because Astrobot is coming out this year as well. I'm just trying to see what they're saying for this one. Doesn't say when this is coming out, Astrobot. It's supposed to be coming out this year. later on in the year, towards the end of the year. But again, there is just so much shit coming out, and I don't even know, like, what do you? It's overwhelming. If you're a gamer right now, and then you just don't even take into account your backlog. I'm still going through Cellerblade, right? I am trying to get through Starfield. Then there's a million other fucking games that I want to play that are in the backlog. So I don't know, I how do you prioritize any of this stuff? I have no idea. I really really do not. But it's interesting. So by the way, I'm just looking at this. There are details that came out. This is from the Xbox Wire post about Gears of War. So it's not a spin-off, but a new entry in the mainline Gears of War saga. The Coalition is content with the stories told in Gears 4 and Gears 5 and isn't abandoning them, but making this game was an opportunity that they felt it was too good to miss. They're going to recreate and improve on the classic cover shooter. Let's see. Takes place 14 years before the first game, tackling how ill-prepared Sarah, why am I saying Earth, responds to the surprise locust invasion. Very intentional recasting the locusts. Let's see. The fear of encountering the locusts for the first time is central to the game. Desperate, and this is what it looks like, when they were showing the trailer. There's desperation as Marcus fights a drone for the first time. Hints that the origin of the Lancer, the chainsaw, will be part of the story. I guess that's kind of cool. The narrative follows the early stages of Marcus and Dom's brotherhood, bonding over the loss of Dom's older brother, Carlos, who was close with Marcus. Over 100 times more environment and character details than Gears 5. Hardware, ray trace lighting, reflections and shadows, next generation destruction and gore, and cutting edge animation technology. Whew, man, I mean, listen, shit sounds exciting, and I guess it's got to be tough for them to figure out. Oh, what do we make? Because everybody's talking about Gears of War, Gears of War 6, but yeah, it's I'll be curious to see when do we get Gear 6. Fuck, man, we're in 2024. I feel like that's not going to be until the next generation that we're going to see that. So that's going to be really interesting. But yeah, guys, like I said, this was going to be a short. My camera on my laptop is. It's feel like there's a smudge, so the video for this is not going to come out so great. This is live me doing this, but my camera. Oh, yeah, that looks better. Damn it. Oh, well, that's, so that happens when you don't do this stuff at the beginning. This is not really a video podcast either, but whatever. So, yeah, anyway, that's going to do it for episode number 30. Little under a half an hour. Like I said, I just wanted to get my quick thoughts out there for the showcase, which I thought was a banger, despite what some people give it a 3 out of 10. Like, what? I can't get over that part. I cannot get over that at all. Like, absolutely cannot get over that. Anyway, this is Will Hernandez for the Nerd Federation podcast, episode 30. Hopefully you enjoyed my quick thoughts about this. And yeah, next episode. So next episode's probably not going to happen until next week, the week of the 17th, because like I said, I will be in the city for most of the week. And honestly, I just have not watched a lot of wrestling. So I'm going to try to watch Battleground tonight. I should be able to watch that. And I will say episode number 31 is going to be full of pro wrestling talk, I think. Unless there's another video game related show that comes up, but we shall see. Also, I'm scheduled to be a guest on a podcast this week to talk about video games. So I will let you know the details of that on social media when that does come to fruition. Supposed to be recording, like I said, on Thursday. So yeah, thanks again for joining. And yeah, we will see y'all next time. Thanks a lot. Take care.